Hey, got some videos, some information, some good time too, and you might learn something before all of this is through. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, man. So make sure you take care of those two things. Make sure you support our endorsers. Total Package Energy, all black company doing all black business, giving people all natural energy supplements to get you through that 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock feeling. Maybe you didn't sleep well the night before. You need that little push to get you through the mush. Total Package Energy. And also, if you bring 5 people to the Real HD show, courtesy of yourself, you will receive a 4-day, 3-night vacay to a place in the United States of your choosing. Caribbean destinations are available as well. Rock out with the Real HD, the HJi'er Discussion. And thank you for joining us. My name is David. We are the Real HJi'er Discussion. You might see some other shows out there with the real in their title, but they're not all going to have a higher discussion popping. So what I would like for us to do is have a higher discussion this evening. But before we do that, we got to get to a couple of important things. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to read off, because my peoples down in New York City are going through it because of the flooding and the chaos. And I just want them to know that they have support. And if anybody knows people in New York City who are going through it, maybe you got some family, some loved ones, and you want them to get what services they need to get back on their feet, here is a list of some resources that they can look out and reach out to and get involved with. Number one, housing and food. Contact the American Red Cross or Catholic Christian charities in your area. Usually there's shelters that accept walk-ins at 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, although outside city limits. Catholic Christian charities is pretty good. I've helped families in Rochester, as myself being a Head Start teacher for many years. I've helped many families get involved with Catholic Christian charities, get homes, food, benefits to help them. They're legit. You can check them out. New York City 311, NewYorkCity.gov, BMCC, and the city as links that can lead to further and further assistance. Number two, stress and mental health assistance. SAMHSA, SAMHSA, is a great place specializing in disaster relief counseling. They offer support in many languages, not just English. New York City has a suicide and crisis lifeline, and NAMI, NAMI, can also help if you guys are in need of those sorts of resources due to what's happening. We understand that a lot of times what pops off is not only the physical damage, but the stress and the mental anxiety and the toll that it takes on your mental health goes practically before everything else. Some things just look overwhelming and then you can't deal anymore. But don't do that. Use these resources: SAMHSA, Suicide Crisis Hotline or Lifeline, and NAMI. Thirdly, insurance. You can contact FEMA and you can about ways to help you. Federal Emergency Management Agency and National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP. You can look into. They will help you with further resources beyond maybe what your insurance company is willing to do, given maybe your car was flooded or your home was flooded or you even lost a loved one. Hopefully that did not take place. General info on flooding. You want to go to NewYorkCity.gov on flooding. You want to go to CDC.gov floods. You want to go to NYC and floods, and understanding flood insurance. And hopefully everyone will be safe and get their life back to a manageable place. You heard it right here first on the Real HD Show. Yeah. So, like always, before we move and skedaddle along, we always got to do our AAT report. So let's jump into that. Oh, you know what? I'm skipping. We got to do our ancestors and elders blueprint. Yeah. Let's jump into that, because that's always important, because we live this life thinking that all these problems are new. There's nothing new under the sun. That is so, like, people have to really grasp that concept. There's nothing new under the sun. There might be new angles, new twists and turns to it, but what you're going through is not new. And nothing is more pivotal than, we're going to jump into something that's talking about Vlad TV and how he is a culture vulture and a cultural appropriator. And then we'll get into a couple of things about what he's doing and how he's doing it, so that you guys can be aware that this dude does not celebrate the Black community, but he mocks it and he uses it to, accumulate the bag. You know what I mean? On our dime and on our time and off the sweat of our brow. Let's check this out. This is about Vlad, the culture vulture, on the Real HD Show.
Are you tired of being overcharged? Photoshop, Microsoft Office.
Well, I hate to say this on your show, but you've been a long, good friend of mine. I have to admit, I don't want to be stereotypical, but yes, he was 100% Negro, and I hope you invite me back here. I love your people. I've done so much for you, but it's a shame.
Where you at? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing them on right now. Answer the hard questions. B-Lad, where you at?
All right, man. Lord Jamar, Godfrey, what's up?
I see you're the disembodied voice that you usually are, huh?
Nah, man. I can't get on camera. I've been doing this for a long time, about 10 years. I'm not gonna get on camera. A lot of people ask me, why don't I get a camera? It's not gonna happen. I just rather you guys do the interviews and I just stay off the camera. But what's up? How you doing? Nice to be on your show.
Yeah, so what's all this shit, man? Like, you're on some bullshit right now for not apologizing to the minister. Like, what's the purpose of your disrespect towards the people that basically made you a millionaire? What's that all about?
Listen, I looked at what I did. I made a statement. I made a statement that I made a mistake. I already made a mistake. I want to move on. I'm not going to let people try to make it seem like they're not going to bully me into apologizing. I made a mistake, and I said it. I made a statement. I said, I made a mistake. I misquoted the minister, and that was it. I mean, I don't know what the problem is. I mean, I've done it. I even asked to sit down, and I even said that the FOI or the nation, they could use their cameras and use it for their own footage. I didn't say come on my thing just to get ratings and that. I didn't say that. So I've done my part.
But doesn't any like journalistic like outlet, if they make a mistake and they have to make a retraction or something, don't they usually apologize for the mistake? Don't they usually? Isn't that?
I think that protocol. I think Lord Jamar, you've been on my show a lot of times. You know, I'm a man. I'm going to stand for what I believe in, and I think that my statement was good enough. You know, I just feel like I'm being bullied. It's more like a bullying thing. I mean, everything I've done is not good enough. I've even talked, they wanted to bring a representative to sit down and talk to me. I said, I would rather personally, or even if it's a phone call, to apologize to the minister, and they refused that. So what am I supposed to do? And I said, I don't need you to come on the show. I'm not trying to clout chase. What I'm trying to do is I want to apologize as a man and apologize to you. You understand? So I don't even understand, but they've refused it. So I'm gonna stand with what I believe in. I mean, I understand if you guys don't agree with me, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. It is what
we don't agree with you, and so we're gonna stand with our people. You stand with your people, and that'll be that.
Oh, well, all right. I mean, listen, I respect you guys. You know, we've hung out a few times, me, you, all of us, and I respect you guys as what you do. And, you know, as long as we respect each other, there's no hate. If you never talk to me again or whatever, you know, who knows? But, you know, I respect that. That's why I came on your show right now. All right. You know, it just is what it is. And, you know, I mean, I don't know what to say, you know, and I tried. I put my hand out.
All right. So that was our elders and ancestors blueprint moment, and that was drummed up by Hip Hop Cartoons. Please go, you know, celebrate their channel. They do great work for our people. They're melanated folk first, and they bring that stuff to you that you need. They bring that information to you so you can be aware and be prepared. Now, the reason I did that was because I was checking out a piece of information earlier today, and it was surrounding this brother here, and Vlad, right? This brother here. Corey Holcomb. He's a good comedian. His views might be a little confrontational from time to time, a lot of the time, but he tells a lot of the truth. He speaks it real plain. He breaks it down. Now, he was on he has a show called The 5150 Show. Really funny. Talks about pop culture, especially black folks pop culture, the black folk angle of pop culture. And he has some very sharp opinions. Now, Vlad reached out to Corey Holcomb to be on his show. And because on Corey Holcomb's show, there was a fight, an incident that broke out between good brother Zoe Williams and Aries Spears. They were all on the show. Corey usually has a lot of comedians on his show, and he is a longtime good friend of radio broadcaster Zoe Williams out of Cali. And I think Corey is in Cali as well. And in typical Vlad fashion, he likes to drum up the drama, right? He likes to serve it to you hot so that he can get clicks and views and likes and subscriptions, and everybody get to talking about each other. Lord Jamar was on his podcast for a very long time. Who else was on his podcast for a very long time? I'm trying to think. The comedian Godfrey was on his podcast for a very long time. Lunel, the comedian, was on his podcast for a very long time. Several, rap and trap artists were on his podcast for a very long time, and he amalgamated a big following. So he reached out to Corey Holcomb. D.L. Hughley was on his podcast for a very long time, and he reached out to Corey Holcomb and said, why don't you do my show? And Corey Holcomb has been a comedian for almost 30, going on 30, 40 years, He's been in the game for a very long time. And he really doesn't need Vlad to make himself famous. All you got to do is book a bunch of gigs all over the country with Ricky Smiley and Cedric the Entertainer and make his bread, right? But instead of that happening, he chooses to do 5150 as an extension of his comedy. So Vlad, the culture vulture, wants to invite Corey Holcomb and Aries Spears on his show to bury the beef. Now, I'm not really sure, but do y'all at home think Vlad wants to bury the beef? Or do you think he wants to fan the flames for clicks and views and to take advantage of, something that was hot at one time that may not, a fight that took place between Zoe Williams and Aries Spears on set because Aries Spears was high, he was drunk, and Zoe Williams put them paws on him for being disrespectful. Now, I'm not into grown man scrapping on nationwide social media or television, but unfortunately, this popped off. So we got Brother Mozzie on, and we're gonna get Brother Mozzie's opinion. We got Brother Mozzie's getting some grub on, so we appreciate him coming on, even though it's grub time. And what do you think about Vlad, the culture vulture? And do you think he was operating from a space and from a good place trying to get Corey Holcomb on, and so they could bury the beef? Or do you think that was for likes and clicks and everything that goes along with it? Let me know when you're ready. I'll move on if you ain't ready right now.
It's for likes and clicks, because one of the things that's happened is Corey Holcomb has been very critical of Vlad. And what he's done is open people's eyes to how he is exploiting us and how a lot of us need to quit going on this show. And he's having problems not getting people on his show.
Right.
So if he can get Corey on there, then it smooths everything over. Everybody's back to normal. He's back to doing what he's been doing.
especially if he got A HJi'er Spears on there, and the controversy that popped off on 5150 show where there was an actual fight between grown men over something that escalated into a dangerous moment because somebody was high and drunk. Now you get the instant controversy, you get the instant drama. Corey Holcomb got fans all over the country, maybe even the world. Instant clicks, views, likes, yada, yada, yada. But check out Hip Hop Cartoons. You can watch the rest of the Culture Vulture cartoon anime that he did on Vlad, because I believe he feels the same way. That Vlad is a cultural appropriatist, and he loves to stir it up for his own, monetary gain. How you doing, bro? What's going on?
Good, man. Just been running around trying to get back here in time to do the show and try to eat while I'm running back.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
You know what's sad? What's sad is A HJi'er Spears intellectually gets it and understands.
Mm-hmm.
But when do that you start to internalize that such that it changes your behavior?
You're right. Because if
I think we need to ask that question to the audience as a whole. We all know better. We all have an intellectual understanding. But when will we internalize that to start making the right decisions and start having right behavior and things of that nature? And I'm not saying, because the brother smokes weed or he drinks. It's everything in moderation. And if you're showing up and you just down a fifth of E&J, and you don't have 5 blunts, come on, man. And then, you don't control your emotions and your behavior. When do we step beyond that?
Right. And the fact that at the time, the podcast was in its infancy. It was real kind of low key, just getting started. Corey Holcomb was trying to get that off the ground as well as doing his comedy thing. And he doesn't pay anybody to be on his show. These are supposed to be people that are his, friends in the industry, radio, TV, whatever it is. And he's inviting them on to, give a, melanated perspective from a comedic side of what's popping. And, this brother took advantage of it, was throwing the filth all over the place. And then the situation got ugly. And somebody who was normally a refined brother, Zoe Williams, had to show him, what that Southern California do,
Right.
What that Compton, Pasadena life is all about. So, look out for Vlad. Please don't support that dude. He ain't worth it. You know what I mean? He ain't, and what's interesting is hip hop is crazy in Russia. And you don't see none of the skullduggery. You don't see none of the ratchetness going on in Russia popping up on his show. He don't interview no Russian people in the Russian ghettos doing what they doing because he's Russian. And this is how, he's fully taking advantage of the popularism that is hip hop culture in the United States. But we're here for this part 2, weird news, and we want to jump into it. We got we're blasting off to 5 Facebook channels: YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, as the young kids call it. We're on Bigo now. The whole Mob Crush, D Live, Troll, Vote, Nation, iHeartRadio, television. It's the Real HD. How is everyone doing? Put it in the chat. If you're from the NYC and you in a safe place and you're not going through it and you want to jump on and you want to tell us what's going on with the floods and the water and the chaos going on down there, please, you got a home, you got an outlet for your voice. That's what the HJi'er Discussion is all about. We want to let you tell your story before the mass media tells it for you. So all you got to do is hit the link below. Brother Mozzie, StreamYard.com, YWDYKU2NMRK. And you can share that link too for anybody that wants to pop up, join, share. And you can also comment. You can also leave a comment. Our comments have been popping over the last 4 or 5 shows. That's really dope. See, we got another comment popping up right now. Let's put that on. All right. Hey, that's what's up, Lady T. Thanks for joining us tonight. So we are here for Weird News, and we gave our readout on what's going on in the city. And if anybody has loved ones in the city like I do, people that you grew up with, people that you're really close to, and you hope that they're making it, hopefully they can use those resources to get their life back on track amidst the chaos. You got loved ones in the city, bro?
Yeah, but they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them, the ones who live in Manhattan are in the high rises, so they've been okay. You know, some friends in the Bronx and some family in Brooklyn, and they appear to be doing okay also. But it is a struggle down there because when a city that size have an issue, it's not as simple as a little township and we can clean it up overnight and everything's good to go. You know, you're talking about a city of 8 million people and a metropolitan area of 12 million people. It's rough, and the infrastructure is old, very, very, very old. So you know, let's you know, send our blessings out, man, to you know, friends and family we got down there, so that everybody's good, and hoping that everybody's good.
Absolutely. Lady T had a comment. I got contractors coming out next week to address my leaks and flooding. Yeah. Reach out to that national insurance
FEMA.
Yeah, FEMA and the National Insurance Agency. Reach out to them. That's supposed to be through, you know, Sleepy Joe. So hopefully they can help you out beyond what your insurer can do. You know, I just want everybody down there to love on each other and, you know, give each other all the support that we can when we can. And, you know, hold on. Let me just put something up that I saw the other day that I had on the show Monday. Just and to
you know,
go ahead.
This is that time, too, where we have to show our humanity as a people. And if we know we have friends and family, or we got your neighbors, you know, whomever, we should be helping each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you see it happen like this, you know it's serious. This is LaGuardia Airport. I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time because I did a whole thing on it last on Monday. That's what LaGuardia looked like. Crazy. And that brother looks like he's carrying someone with and that person is carrying their luggage because of what's going on with the water in LaGuardia. That's out of control. And then I had a picture of the subway when that water was coming in. Good Morning America also captured it. It was crazy. And my father used to live down on 23rd Street in Chelsea. And I used to I used to hit that subway. Yeah, my uncle and my Uncle Dave and my father had a bar on 23rd and 8th. And I used to hit 28th Street all the time. And look at that water on 28th Street. That is, you could surf on that joint, man. Look at that.
Yeah, man.
Now, could you imagine the rats and the vermin mixed in that crap? Oh, out of control.
Well, the one thing that the most ironic piece about this is it will clear out a lot of vermin.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, it's going to stink for a while, too.
Oh, yeah. But
one of the good things is it got rid of a lot of the vermin that's running around. Maybe none of the alligators that's down there.
Yeah, man. Yo, my man was busting up them alligators, man. Let me show the picture.
Yeah.
Yo, that might, I think that's photoshopped. I don't think that's real. I think it's photoshopped. I grabbed it somewhere on Twitter. Folks was cutting.
Yeah, I saw it out there too on social media, but it's funny though.
Folks was cutting up, but there was a bunch of sea lions that did get out on the loose from the zoo in New York. And I don't know what their disposition is. Y'all can let me know at home. What's a sea lion's disposition? I'm not trying to find out. He smack you with one of them fins.
That's a big animal, man.
Bring a whole.
I don't know if anybody been to Marineland or anything like that, but them they're just ginormous.
Yeah, man, it smack you with one of them fins, give you a whole lean. You know, they say that gangster lean, they give you a real gangster lean for real. Yeah, man, they on top of ledges. The water rolls so high that they could get above the embankments in the zoo, and they actually got out. Wow, crazy, man. I hope my hometown is all right, man, and they get through it. You know, I showed this the other day, right? And you talked about humanity, bro. Only in New York, man. I'm gonna show this real quick. It's only 14 seconds. Gotta show this. The humanity only in New York is gonna come. I really rock on any block.
Look how I hate Brooklyn. I'm leaving because why my sister sent me this.
Only in New York.
She only in New York. Only in the city, man. Well, you can travel.
Never been down there, you never lived there at any point. You know, you can't just go visit New York City and say that's New York City. You got to live there for a little while and just understand and see the things that go on, man. There's never a dull moment.
No.
And it's probably one of the most resilient places on the planet, man. It really is. I mean, even though they're going through that, it looks rough and tough. New York is a hardy people, man. And they'll make it. They'll bounce back real quick.
Yeah, man. Amidst all of that, somebody found joy for a moment.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm gonna make somebody feel.
Say what you want to about who they are and their mental state, but hey, they did it. They did it. Only in New York. Yo, so we here for this tonight. Weird news. So I want to ask everybody, how was your October 4th FEMA signal? What happened to y'all, man? Did it work? Did it not work? Are your digital products in chaos? Is it the night of the living bass heads outside? What's popping?
That's a good question.
I got a couple people hit me up, and they were saying you was right, man. I got the zap. So let us know. Did you get the zap earlier today? And what happened to your products? What was going on? What was popping? How did it all turn out? I cut my stuff off.
My stuff was off.
Yeah, I cut my stuff off for 3 hours, and then at 5, I booted my stuff back up with with the and then Lady T said her devices were off. Yeah, that's the safe way to go. That's the safe way to go. Because you never know what these people are planning, man. You never know what these people got cooking. And, when we're talking about strange news, we got to do this as well. Because, if you go on BitChute and you go on the Stu Peters show. Now, Stu Peters is a Christian conservative, alt-right Christian conservative, but you can't deny great information when you get good information. You got to take it wherever it comes. And then you verify it, you walk the dog, you make sure it's good information before you present it to people. And he did a series called Something in the Water, or Watch the Water. You familiar with that, bro?
I am not.
Okay. He did a series called Watch the Water. And what that was about was when a lot of people were passing away from COVID, they found a lot of stuff in their urine. And one of the chemicals that they found in the urine was not vibromectin, it was texitoxins and conotoxins. So they started asking questions. Why is reptile chemicals and snail chemicals in these people's urine? And they found that was typical of a lot of people that were dying of COVID. And then they started testing the water supply, Come to find out that the toxins and the chronotoxins were in the water as well. Crazy. And now and then everybody was like, nah, man, you a conspiracy theorist. That ain't correct. You capping. You talking that crap. And we've been telling you about these WEF people over and over and over. And now they talking about the water.
It's true with COVID, right? We are all only as healthy as our neighbor is on our street, in our city, in our region, in our nation, and globally. And did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. It's not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. You know, climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid knows how important it is to have water. When you're playing football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really, in some ways, experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed miserably other times? And hopefully we won't keep failing on the other things, but anyway.
So that's interesting, man. There's a lot in there, man. A lot of admitting of failure, number one. Right? And what do you think, man? What was some of the, hold on, I got another comment up here. Let's go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, get moms on board. No doubt. Yeah, let's keep all our people safe. No doubt. What was your thought about, watch the water? You know what I mean? I'll try to, get the name of the series that Stu Peters had called Watch the Water. I'll put it on the screen. But what's your thought about, them elite people and them talking about watching the water all of a sudden? Now, New World Water is a thing. Go ahead.
Well, remember, they always talked about we would have water wars. I think, remember that movie with, I don't even know the guy's name, man. Played the bodyguard. And Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, yeah.
But one of the things that when you watch Mad Max and shows like that, they're telling you that water is going to be a commodity, man. Even though the planet, 70, 80%, 90% of the planet is water, it's still going to be a commodity. Because what better way to control the people? Because you can live without food as long as you got water for 30 days, probably even a little longer. As long as you got water, you're good.
Yes, sir.
So this whole water deal, and the thing is, she's telling you, they're pretty much telling you, hey, something's going to be going down and something's going to be in the water. I'm saying it without saying it. And the fact that she talked about, we need to vaccinate everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need to vaccinate everybody?
That's what's going to be.
Especially when we know it don't work.
Right.
You get booster after booster after booster. Or maybe every time you get that booster, they're dumping more graphene and nanobites in your system.
Mm-hmm.
Until you reach a critical mass to where now when you do the alert system, it will actually work. You got to get a critical mass in there to actually attach and work on the brain and the body to where something actually happens. Because, the nanomites, unless they're self-replicating, which I don't think they are at this point, you got to build up that critical mass to where they actually are doing something.
Yes, sir. So here's the clip of Watch the Water. It's on Rumble, actually. You can go on Rumble and check it out. And it's 2 parts. It was done by a doctor and a chiropractor, the research. And this is how they found out that the chronotoxins and the toxins were in the bodies of the deceased, and then eventually in the water And then a lot of those toxins and chronotoxins were also used as part of the jabby jab as well. So we got to be really, really careful. Go check that out. Do the research. Don't just believe what they say. Take what they're saying. Write it down. Walk the dog. Make sure those, dot the I's, cross the T's. But there it is right there. Watch the water. There's 2 parts to it. It's pretty good. And of course, the medical and scientific community doesn't want to believe a low-level doctor and a chiropractor, but they know their stuff, because a lot of the chronotoxins and toxins were in things like cancer medication. They were in things like high blood pressure medication on the low. Nobody knew. So you could look these things up and you say, why would they be putting reptile chemicals, venom, if you will, in medical products? Interesting information, man. Interesting information. So check it out, man. Watch the water. Do your thing. Hey, man. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. So we are on day 4. And it says to bless yourself with tobacco. So hoodoo is a part of our Orisha tradition, is part of our Ifa tradition as a people. And these are things that we can do or not do, or at least just be observant on, that celebrates and highlights the willingness and the for us to connect back to our heritage. And this has followed us all the way from the motherland all the way over here. And of course, it gets a bad name in pop culture. Well, this month is National Hoodoo Month. You can call it voodoo, you can call it Santeria, you can call it Ori, you can call it the Ifa, whatever you choose to call it, however you choose to celebrate it, because it's been morphed a bunch of times into a bunch of things. Even so much so that if you saw the Disney rendition of what is that show? The Princess and the Frog. They had the hoodoo in there, and everybody thought that was Babalao, the brother with the hat, right, and the bones, and he was dancing around. That wasn't Babalao. That was Barristan Selmy. Baron Selmy. So I'm gonna put his picture up so that we can know, because a lot of times that we talk about this, man, we talk about this from a place of being scared, because it's not Judeo-Christian based. Everybody at home following? And whatever's not Judeo-Christian based, they wanna, have you huffing and puffing and super scared over it. So this is a picture. This is a picture of Baron Selmy, and he is a spiritualist that they celebrate in New Orleans when they talk about hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, or Orish. It's intertwined with the native traditions, and it comes from the motherland, one of the last vestiges of spirituality from the motherland that we got, and we celebrate it in different ways. But this is not Alegba. This is Baron Selmy. So if
wasn't
you guys
Baron in the one of the James Bond movies?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so.
He's that brother Keith David. He the brother Keith David with the deep voice. He's in a lot of the
yeah.
He played his part on Princess and the Frog. Are you ready? And a lot of people get that mixed up, jacked up, twisted, because they're not educated on what that is and what it's not. You follow voodoo, Santeria, Orishas, or Ifa at all?
I did at one point. I haven't recently. I kind of one of those things that I have a knowledge of, but that's about it.
Yeah. So remember we were talking about Brother Terrain Walker and the septum ring theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the septum ring theory kind of revolves around women who, sisters who claim to be pro-black, but they want to cause a divide or a rift between brothers and sisters within the community. And then typically you'll see them coming out of some sort of academic context, and they'll have a septum ring in their nose. When there are, spiritual principles that are behind why sisters wear septum rings. Well, there's a TikTok trend popping off right now. Are you familiar with this, bro? Called witch talk?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can pull that up from the other day. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. This is called witch talk. And there's a whole spirituality behind that. And I think, and not a spirituality, but a sensationalism behind witch talk. So it's TikTok, but it's women who are claiming to be witches in the Wiccan community. And this is white women and black women. But black women are taking on the hoodoo, the voodoo, the santeria, and the Ifa. Now, what you think of that, man? We know that these things are not done from a place of earnest or a place of integrity. So when you see that sisters are taking on a witch or a Wiccan spirituality, and it's steeped in academia, this is how they're being introduced to it. Where do you think that that's going to eventually go? What do you think? What's your first impression of that when you hear stuff? When you hear that?
When I hear that kind of stuff, man, it's them. One of the things we have to understand is Christianity and religion in general, as it's been for our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our parents, has changed and has shifted. Mm-hmm. And people don't feel connected to it like they used to. And they're going and looking at other things. To keep you away from that, you start to then take those other things that they're looking at and you pervert them.
Yes, sir.
And then you say, hey, this is why you need to be over here, because this right here is so perverted. Mm-hmm. And this is what it does. So it's just a campaign of trying to get people back on that trail. Because remember, religion is about control. In the age of Pisces, the fish, it was about controlling that fish in that body of water. It couldn't go anywhere. Now into the, it's the song that was it not the Four Tops, but the whatever the group was, they used to sing the song. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. In the age of Aquarius is the age of information. Yeah. So now we're moving to the age of Aquarius, which is the age of information. And that information now is saying, wait a minute, I'm this fish that's being controlled, but wait a minute, this don't make sense anymore. So now those traditions that we were told were taboo, people are now starting to look at them and understand them and say, hey, this makes sense. And actually I can incorporate this into my life and I feel good now. And that third eye starts to open up and we really start to see what's going on in this world. We don't have as much mental health problems. We don't have, the depression problems. We don't have so these things are uplifting people. You can't control the people who found something that uplifted them. So what you do is you then start to pervert it. And especially now with the technology and the information, because we're in the information age, social media and everything, you pervert this stuff. So people then kind of stay away from it. See, this is what grandma was telling you about. This kind of craziness right here. Oh, you right. You right. Oh no, Sorry, man. I got one. It's one gnat in the house, man. In front of me. I cannot get him every time.
You all good, man. You all good. Do your thing, man. But like, we got to be critical of most things. We know that a lot of these academic centers, university, on and on and on, bookstores, what have you, they're introducing our sisters into these things without really explaining, and the sisters don't have the legacy of guidance to understand what's really popping with the Ifa and the hoodoo, right?
Correct. Because
so
we're not listening to, because they're not doing primary research.
Right.
What they're doing is they're going on secondhand information, they're going on hearsay, and they're not taking the time to read the literature, more importantly, because it's on TikTok, and we now have moved into a 15-second world.
Yeah, man. So I just want to show a couple of things, because I don't want to put these in video, because I have the videos, but the videos will take forever. But see, there's this one sister, and she's a young girl, but this is her on TikTok dancing and mocking the Santeria and the Ifa images. When someone who's afraid of clowns comes at me sideways.
And you see what they said, someone who's afraid of clowns.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Now, this is another woman. Mm-hmm. Women who overstand shadow work versus denial, Epsom salt bath, matcha over coffee, healing, power of sunlight, ginger tea, and protecting your peace and pH balance. Now, on its face, that's not bad. But here we have a sister that's trying to, if you watch this video, I'm not going to put it on for sake of the length of it, but she has some really elemental pieces, and she's trying to conjure up energy to make sisters ward off the men in their life if they're going through a spat with them.
Open up that other dimension.
Yeah, so she's saying you could have people not come to your door and bother you at your door by using voodoo, hoodoo, Ifa, and you can't play with those energies, because every time you cast a spell, if you will, with those energies, there's always a trade-off. You trade off energy. Like, energy is never destroyed, it's always just displaced into another form of energy. So you are what they call disproportionate to the things that you are trying to do. And there's another sister on here talking about how brothers in the club are dark, give off dark energy in their eyes. So I'm showing all of this to help people understand that there's a difference between what you're learning now and what the traditional Ifa, hoodoo, and voodoo is. Hoodoo is a system of folk magic originated from African American culture, incorporating African, European, native traditions. It is structured. It's not a structured religion, but rather a personalized and individualized practice centered around conjuration and root working. And there's nothing wrong with root working, but you can't use it for devious purposes, because that energy would just boomerang back at you. Voodoo, also known as voodoo, is structured religion originated in West Africa. This is Ifa they're talking about, and is practiced in Haiti and southern United States. Complex rituals, priesthood, and the worship of spirits known as Loa. Voodoo rituals incorporate music, dance, and sacrifice. So we just want to make sure, and I showed a big, I'm going somewhere with this. I showed a big clip about the Oris and the Ifa in the original way, and the different gods of Ifa. Olorun, Ogun, Oye, Yemenya, Django, Legba, on and on and on and on and on and on, just to give people some context and some background. And, you start to see things like this rise up in pop culture. Let me pop it on real quick. And here we are. Now, all this is predicated on, that's the entertainer Doja Cat. You familiar with her at all, bro?
I heard her name. Don't know. I wouldn't know her song if I was, was black.
Yeah. She's in the Nicki Minaj, Cardi B variety of music, that sort of thing. So you're not really missing nothing. But this is an interracial young lady, and she gained popularity and success really fast. I mean, within the last 5 years, she's become a millionaire. And within that time period, she's done nothing but denigrate herself chasing after white boys, and then eventually wound up cutting off all her hair due to the anxieties and the social pressures of the industry. And now this is her latest work, where she's dressing up like what they think is a demon. So what's your thought when you see this, man?
Just more perversion, man, of things that we know existed that offered positive light for people. Just further perversion.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know what you think at home of Doja Cat's new get up, her new piece. And you know that it's about the bag, because you go off and, if you were going to be a Wiccan, or you were going to start using, if you were going to start using, those sorts of spiritual practices to exercise what might have been some, rooted African spirituality, you wouldn't go off and do this. So that's an homage to the Friends TV show. How they all, how they all crowded around the couch, and that was kind of in the introduction of the show. But she chose to get dressed up like a devil and parade her, and that's all body paint, so she's naked under that paint, right? And she's got on a gold chain, earrings, gold fronts on her teeth, and cosmetic nailings. So, and then of course you remember this dude here. So I got a question, man. When are people gonna stop playing around with these energies that they know nothing about? And when we gonna hold our own nuts, or woman up and say, I'm not down for this, to do this, and to look like this. Now when you cut all your hair off and you're losing your commercial appeal, I guess the next thing to do to rise up above that will be to make a caricature out of yourself. What's your thoughts on the new way that our people, without knowing, are making these, boo-boo caricatures of themselves?
What they say, the money is the root of all evil. And I think that's what a lot of these people are chasing that money. And they'll do anything for it. Plain and simple. No, they'll just do anything for money. Period.
Yeah, man. And she even did. Go ahead.
Oh, if it means I gotta denigrate myself, or I have to promote things that I don't know what the heck I'm promoting, I don't care. I just want to be able to make that money.
Yeah, man.
And because we've fallen in love with the click, that's the other problem we got.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used to say I'm in love with the cocoa, but now they say I'm in love with the click.
She did an homage to Carrie. You remember the movie Carrie?
Yep, where she wore the. I'm looking at that right now, as a matter of fact, where she has all those. She's in all red.
Yeah.
And she got the 30,000 Swarovski crystals. I'm like, you got all these crystals, but why is everything red?
Yeah. And then she also did a, I guess this is her new spiel. This is her new wave, if you want to call it, the goth, the scary goth, the horror goth. You know what I mean. But then you're gonna try to intertwine R&B and hip hop into it, and try to.
Alien. That's the alien. That's aliens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is how you know this is all like, for the bag. It's all pop culture. It's all affiliated with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's another one where she's all red, and yeah, we've whored ourselves out to get paid. Point blank, period. And I would say, which is different than in the past. In the past, people just wanted to be famous, and they made no money. And in a very ironic kind of way, these folks want to be famous, but they know you can be famous and broke. They're trying to be famous and make money.
Yes, sir.
So they'll stoop to even lower levels.
Yes, sir. Yeah. There's people sell their souls for that dollar, for sure. For sure. Thank you, Lady T. We got another one popping in. Let me see if I can find the Faustian Quest piece. I wanted to put that up. You familiar with the Faustian Quest, bro?
No.
He's a figure in literature. There's a fable about him. Let me see if I can get it in my recents. And it's about, he had a thing about selling your soul to the devil for fame, glory, and all the rest of it. Faustian Bargain. There's a book written about it.
I'm familiar with this.
Are you familiar with that? A pact whereby a person trades something of supreme moral or spiritual importance, ding, such as personal values or soul, for some worldly or material benefit, such as knowledge, power, or riches, refers to the legend of Faust, a character in German folklore literature who agreed to surrender his soul to an evil spirit, Mephisto, and a representative of Satan, after a period of time in exchange for otherwise unattainable materials of knowledge or power or worldly pleasures. So when we were little, we used to see television programs that focused on this all the time. And they would make light of it. They would do it in cartoons. They would do it in little comedy skits and sitcoms. Oh, you ready to sell your soul to the devil? And they would be like, I don't know. And then Tom and Jerry, they pull out a big old contract. Remember that? The scroll with all kind of fine print.
Oh, yeah.
And the person would be shaking in their boots before they sign it. It was, man, I think there's so many adaptations of that very same Faustian Bargain that goes on in 80s and 90s, 70s.
And everything, man. It was
70s and 80s.
Was all over the place. Even at a point where I was even thinking at one time, like, man, would I do that?
Right.
This is how they get you. Now we got the good one. We got the genie, the good white woman who grant us good wishes. You get 3 good wishes.
Right.
So
I dream a genie, right? Yeah. Crazy, man. I wanted to bring these things to your attention Because as we look at Doja Cat in that devil outfit, right? Or demon outfit, as the kids say now, she on demon time, right? It reminds me of this. I know you grew up when I grew up, so you'll remember when I put this on. It harkens back to how they used to herald black folks in the Middle Ages and in Greek mythology. So you remember the classic movie that stood out from that. Clash of the Titans. Yeah. Calibus was his name. Calibus was his name. And when you entered his realm, it was almost, so you got Doja Cat looking like this. Let me load it back up again. You got Calibus looking like that with the afro and wide nose and all that. And then you got Doja Cat looking like this. Message. Message. So what was interesting is that the very same depiction that they're trying to get Doja Cat to do a Faustian bargain for was the antiquated image of evil that a lot of illiterate Europeans wanted to cast out or cast into the consciousness of people through television. And of course, we all know Birth of a Nation and what the imagery that Birth of a Nation conjured up for what black folks were supposed to be about. What's your thought when you see all that, man? Connections or not?
Everything is connected. We don't, the problem is that we don't understand things in context.
Yes, sir.
We think that everything just kind of exists in its own little vacuum. But there's everything that goes on in society doesn't happen by happenstance.
No, it does not.
Plain and simple.
So that's an interesting movie if you want to get into Greek mythology. Greece is like a swim away from, Egypt. So, there's a lot of parallels throughout history and art and a lot of conversions and perversions and crossovers. So this is the same dude, Calibus, that mimics and that is similar to the way that Doja Cat is looking here, and this is what his lair looked like in Clash of the Titans. So that's him as a figure, right?
I know where you're going with this.
And do you see the image on top of this is his throne, okay? And do you see the image that's on top of the throne?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's basically mocking Ma'at from Kemet. But what's interesting was I found a picture in medieval times that depicted the very same thing. Wouldn't you know it? So they give him a throne of a grafted Ma'at picture. Ma'at is supposed to be the cosmic heavens, the bearer of justice and righteousness throughout Kemet and throughout the continent. But this is how illiterate Europeans predicted Ma'at or depicted the Ma'at figure. It was rapture for them. But this is what they'll give you as a facsimile of that. And slip it right up under your nose and make it some sort of cinematic classic. And if you look at the figure, that's in the middle of the throne. That's in that, you know, in that plush velvet. It looks like a crest almost. If you go down to the apron part of the crest, you'll see that it's the Karasu of Kemet. It's the Karasu brand of ancient Kemet. So then one has to ask a vital question. What were they trying to depict with this Calibos dude, his lair, his throne, and all of it? And wasn't he trying to marry Andromeda or Persephone and rule all of Phoenicia? Wasn't that a part of it?
I don't remember much of that movie, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the love child of what's the guy's name that was the god of the sea? Neptune and Hera. And he's supposed to be the love child of those two. And Hera promised him a kingdom and the fact that he would rule over Phoenicia. Now we know ancient Phoenicia was all melanated folk. And he's sitting on the throne with the Karasu over the apron of the crest and the seal there with the middle-aged depiction of Ma'at. And this is a facsimile of that art as well, and what illiterate European people thought that art represented. Interesting stuff, man. You know, you see how this thing leads you from one piece to another piece to another piece. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was an 80s piece, right? When did that come out, bro? Like
it was 80s.
Like 85.
But they did other versions of it later.
They did a remake of it, and that was trash too. They did a whole lot of crap. The dude that played in them, I don't know if
but they did it in a new one. You know, when they do the new one, they try to infuse some of the newer camera tricks and cinematography. That's all they really try to do.
Right.
And sometimes they make them darker though.
Yeah, they even got the guy who was Voldemort in the Harry Potter joints to be to represent one of the Hades. That's what it was. He was Hades in the movie. So, you know, they're trying to draw in that crowd based on that popularism. So we got Doja Cat dressing up like this, which is reminiscent of Calibos, which is really an Islamic term for the caliphate or the Khalifa of ancient times. So, you know, you got to kind of watch your root words, right? As, you know, Brother Steve Coakley and Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark used to tell us, you know, you gotta do the research, you know, state the facts and name the names. So Calibos is nothing but a derivative of the caliphate, which is an Islamic term for the ruling Moors of old. So we got to be, and based on, I was looking up some etymology on the name Calibos, right? Because I wanted to understand what was that about. It sounded like like a Khalifa or a caliphate, right? So I said, let me make sure this has the same derivative. Guess what they said in the making of Clash of the Titans? Guess what they said? He's not a real character. He was made up for the movie.
That's always the case. Take yourself too serious, man. It's just a movie. But we're always being told something is just something.
Ain't no mistakes on the edit room floor, though, right, bro? In Hollywood.
Man, you say that again.
Hey, ain't no mistakes on the edit room floor of Hollywood. They do things intentionally. And this movie won all kind of awards, and the dude that played Perseus went on to do all kind of movies and TV series and had a long, nice career off of it. You know what I mean? Off a lot of garbage. But I say all of that to say this. So let's go back to the hoodoo voodoo, right? So the hoodoo voodoo was on deck, and it's being said that it was being learned in academic spaces, universities, schools, blah, blah, blah. And of course, we know in the universities and the schools, one of the main things they teaching the young babies is the second and third wave feminism. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. And are you familiar with this chick, Abraham Abramovich?
I've heard the name.
She is in the likes of some of the, some of the elites of the world, and she does this thing called spiritual cooking. Crazy spirit cooking. And anybody at home familiar with that? Put it in the chat if you are. If you're not, I'll put you on, because she is type crazy. It's a short clip, about 48 seconds, and then we can chop it up. Real HD show, check it out. So, go ahead.
Abramovic, she does something called spirit cooking. Elites essentially come and eat around the bodies and the heads of people in some weird ritualistic manner. Here's her with Jared Leto.
Of course.
Here's her with Lady Gaga.
Wait, what?
Engaging in spirit cooking. She's done art installations where you like walk over it and people underneath the installation are touching themselves. And you know who she invited to one of her spirit cooking things? Podesta brother.
When you mentioned the spirit cooking thing, it totally brought up memories of the leaked emails, the Hillary's emails from 2016. And there was stuff about spirit cooking in those emails. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
What are we thinking, man? We see that stuff. Weird news. And then she's linked to people like this. Oh yeah.
Listen, when your boy's already made a pact, man. He done already went and said, "Hey, give me mine. We'll be good. I'll do what you need me to do." And he says stuff, but what does it really mean in essence? And we don't know because we look at Jay-Z as this dude who's done all these great things in the capitalist world, but not really looking underneath the sheets, see what really has he done. And they tell us that, look what Jay-Z did. He owned, he was one of the owners of the Nets. But when you look at the deal, it was a fraction of a percent. That's just not impressive. We could have put together a couple brothers and we could have got ourselves a fraction of a percent. You know what I mean? But I say all that to say is that we have our folks who are, to get theirs, this is what they decided that they were going to do. And sometimes they feel because they're in this stuff that they're somehow on this cutting edge of something. Exactly, smoke and mirrors. And the reality is they're being taken for a ride. And then the spiritual aspect of that is, once again, you're playing with these energies and you don't know what you're doing. But did you catch the most important part? They all sit around that table and these heads are sticking up and they're down there pleasuring themselves while their head is sticking up. Hillary Clinton, what's that Einstein, whatever the dude named island that he had?
Epstein, yeah.
Epstein Island. All this these are all these rituals that they engage themselves in, because one of the things that they want to do is they're trying to gain some level of immortality. And they think through doing all this stuff, this is where they're going to gain it. Outside of the fact that they do suffer from a psychosexual maladaptation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So she's, you know, kind of all over the place, dabbling in a little bit of this and dabbling in a little bit of that, and went out in Cali and combined with UCLA, and this is what they are doing in a kids' park. This is a kids' park, okay? Kids' park. Keep that in mind. It's the butthole exhibit, y'all.
Yes.
They made AIDS Memorial in Palm Springs a giant gaping asshole. AIDS Memorial sparks debate in Palm Springs. Proposed AIDS Memorial sculpture in Palm Springs is at the center of a heated debate, with its design sparking concerns in the community. Yo, the babies can't even ride the seesaw no more, man.
Nah, they gotta jump through buttholes to get there.
What the hell, man? That's in the parks, my guy. Come on. Come on, man. That's in the park right now, man. Mommy, what's that?
Yeah. Mommy got to explain what that is.
Right. Can I touch it? Yo. And this is coming out of all of these strange indoctrinations that go on the university level, that going on the feminism, second, third wave feminism level, with people like this person, Abramovich, and the spirit cooking. Oh my gosh. So we got another one on deck. Lady T on fire tonight. No more monkey bars and swigs. Yeah, it's crazy, man. This world is going nuts. Nuts. So you heard in the video that Abramovich was linked to Hillary Clinton in some of these special dinners, right? So somebody made an absurd, gross piece of art of Hillary Clinton in New York City because she was involved in this, and they thought she was doing some, you know, she was on demon time, like, you know, homegirl Doja Cat. And this is what her statue turned out to look like.
I remember that.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Anybody at home remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie? When he was on Mars, and he had the dude in his chest, and the dude had like fingers, and he was like, "Read."
Yep, I remember that movie.
Don't that look like that? Don't.
I remember when they didn't get no oxygen. That's how the face looked.
And don't that look like the face?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And it just so happens, look at the red foot.
Yeah. Hey man, don't take our word for it. Go online and look up spirit cooking. And look at all of the people that's connected to it and all of the stuff they doing. What's the dude that's married to now I don't know if he's still married to her, but he was married to Selma Hayek, the fashion guy. Is it Balenciaga or whatever?
Oh, don't even get into that dude, man.
But he's using the babies too, though.
Yeah, and that dude is he's beyond bad energy. He's a psycho.
Yeah, for sure.
And he definitely has pushed the limit on the things that he's into, the things that he shows and displays, and we still just buy this stuff like it's nothing. You know, you got Balenciagas on, you know, you consider people think he's somebody, especially amongst the younger crowd. Yes, I got Balenciagas on. Oh, you got the drip. And then you see the Balenciaga dripping blood all over the place.
Right. How about it? So if you want to read more on Maria Abramovich and you don't think we got our tinfoil hats on right here, because we don't, I always come with receipts. Here's an article. What is spirit cooking? Maria Abramovich, Satanist, Rothschild conspiracy explored amid Zelensky. Oh, and she's going over there to do some work with Zelensky in Ukraine. And this article talks about it. The author's name is Krishma Rowe. You can check that out. Just happened, last month. It's interesting stuff, man. And these people are playing around. And the thing that I don't like it is our sisters are dabbling in these energies that they don't understand and they don't have any context of.
And that's the biggest part. No context.
Right. They don't have a meaningful guide to understand how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if you trying to do grandma's recipe and grandma never taught you.
Yep.
And then it come out flat and you wonder why. You know what I mean? It come out tasting like mud and you wonder why. Well, grandma didn't take your hands and show you how to push that, how to knead the dough and how to add the right amount of this and that salt and a pinch of this and a pinch of that. And then it's tasting like the most wonderful thing in the world. And I don't want to saint grandma neither. Grandma had a lot of shit with her too. Truth be told. If we're going to tell the truth, we ain't get to this mess by ourselves.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know what I'm saying? But there are some things that we could have held on to and needed a little more assistance with. And we could have sat at the feet of some elders and learned a little bit more about what we got to do, how we got to navigate it. This is the artist 21 Savage. He's a trap artist. And he's a rapper that practices E5. And then the brother who is on trial for the Rico, Young Thug, out of Atlanta. He's also a practitioner of E5, but they call it voodoo, and then they had to get a DA of Atlanta DA to not add that into evidence because they were sacrificing goats and doing some other crazy stuff that may not have been right and exact. So, and there's a lot more we can get into, man. Let us know if you like our weird news show. We'll do more of it because it's a weird world out here. You know what I mean? It has a lot of root and a lot of things that, like Brother Mozzie said, were perverted and contorted and brought over via Africa, Greece, Rome, Europe, and now it touches down here in the United States, and it plays out in some wild, wild ways, and our young people are getting very influenced by these things in the worst type of ways, man. So I just wanted to bring some of these things to you so that if you got a youngster and they're telling you about this or telling you about that, you can say, hey, I heard a little bit about that on the Real HD show. There's a couple of articles. Why don't we sit down and read them and really find out what this is about? All these popularisms that you want to celebrate. Let's find out what this is really all about. Let's put some context to the nonsense. All right, man, we right there. We are going to get ready to pack this up for the evening. It's 9:30. I hope the October 4th zap of all your digital products didn't leave you in the gray or sad or displaced and you don't have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to replace your electronics. Let us know in the comments if that happened to you. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know what you liked about tonight. Did you like what information you took in tonight? Was it the voodoo E5 information? Was it the Doja Cat piece? Was it the Abraham Abramovich piece? And all that goes along with that. Hope we were clear. Hope you got something out of it. We are going to say peace, walk with power, and love on each other, especially in these crazy times. Much love to my New York City people, man. I know y'all going through it. We out. Real HD show. We'll see y'all on Monday.
Later.